guy might be your best point of contact initially. How do I get hold of you? This morning I'm in the Orts Road area. We've had a number of complaints from businesses and local residents over the last sort of 18 months. And I've been down to look at the problem with drug dealing in particular, which seems to be revolve around cannabis in this area. And I'm visiting this morning to see Inspector Kevin Sinfield and his team, who is the neighbourhood inspector for the south and east of Reading. But more important than that today is that it covers the Orts Road area. And I've come here to see what the police have been doing. So rather than me telling you what they're doing, what I've asked Kevin to do first is just tell us a bit about the operations you've been doing in the last year or so, and you know, some of the initiatives you're going to be taking in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, as you're aware, this area has been synonymous with drug dealing for up to 30 years now. I'm not foolish enough to think that I'm going to eradicate drug dealing from this area and or Reading, obviously. For the last couple of years now, we've executed warrants in the neighbourhood. We've admittedly moved the problem from the Mandela Court area where drug dealing is actively going on, and we are aware that we've displaced it to other areas, but what we're actually trying to do is trying to make it as difficult as possible for people to deal in the area. We want to put an overt camera in Orts Road itself. We're going to get the signage up. We're going to put a camera opposite the towpath here. And we also want to look at improving the lighting along the towpath so that people make it feel a lot safer to be in this area.
I mean, that is one of the things that people are saying to me, that particularly around sort of Mandela Court and in that inner area, there doesn't seem to be an issue with crime itself there. But there seems to be a wider issue with fear of crime, because there's an atmosphere that's created by the drug dealing and the spotters that are around and the sort of hoodies that you see around. And people are very worried about that, so they don't like to go out, and that's obviously having a knock-on effect. So what can you do about that to get over that fear of crime as well as the actual crime that's taking place?
I totally understand people's fears, and unfortunately a lot of it is perception a lot of the time. I want to reassure people that the crime levels in this area are very, very low, and if you compare it to other neighbourhoods across Reading, it's one of the lowest. Yes, drug dealing is a crime, and I won't tolerate drug dealing, and we'll deal with as many drug dealers and people involved in the sale and supply of drugs as often as we can. I think we probably as an organisation need to explain and communicate to people a lot more what we're trying to do in relation to making the areas brighter during the hours of darkness. We're going to increase our patrols in the area as often as we can. We have student officers that are regularly coming into Reading. That's a routine course of their business. We get them to patrol this area to deal with people that are potentially on drugs, and we'll deal with them in the best way that we think possible. We're going to put as much pressure as we can on these drug dealers. I know what you're saying about some people are in fear. I often actually speak to people who say that they're quite happy in this area as well. So we need to get the balance right. The equilibrium's got to be that nobody should be in fear. I totally understand that, but you're always going to get some people that will say they're in fear whatever is actually going on. We want local people to communicate with us more, to tell us what's going on and what they actually see, so we can build up a picture. It might be totally irrelevant to them what's actually going on, but that might be the final sort of piece of the jigsaw which actually helps us collar a drug dealer, for example, as to what they're actually doing and how they operate.
So what is your message to the drug dealers active in this area, and also what's your message to the residents in this area?
Okay, the message to the drug dealers is that we will not allow them to continue to carry out their criminal activities, and as soon as we have the evidence to deal with them appropriately, we will deal with them, and we'll deal with them firmly. To our residents, we want them to engage with us and feel confident that we are working with our other agencies, trying to sort out and deal with problems that are occurring down here. They've not been forgotten. Just because they don't see a police officer every day doesn't mean to say something's not going on. I've got no qualms in saying that we have covert and have had covert cameras in this area in the past, and I'm sure should we need it again we'll install covert cameras again. So that's the message to drug dealers, that they never know who's watching them. But for the community, we will look at putting this overt camera in as soon as we possibly can to give that further reassurance.
Well, thanks to Kevin Sinfield for coming out with me this morning and taking me around the area and telling me exactly what the police have been doing. I'm going to keep a very close eye on the initiatives that the police are going to take in this area, and hopefully we can see an improvement in the coming weeks and months.